It's the final round before the race to the championship. With 7 riders competing for the final 6 spots, they will do whatever it takes to make it in. Who are the 10 riders that will race for the championship? Find out next. It comes down to this, the final stop before we race to the championship at AMA Arenacross, featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross from Reno, Nevada on Fox Sports 1. Hi everyone, welcome inside. I'm Robbie Floyd. This is the champ, Grant Langston. We'll see Christy Lee in just a moment. It's getting down to the nitty gritty. Only 10 riders race to the championship, and there's a few guys right there on the bubble.
Well, as we've seen, there are 5 riders separated by 12 points, but only 4 of them are going to make it into that top 10 and go for the championship later this season. So it is crunch time. I mean, it's do or die tonight. These guys are going to be hanging it out. I'm excited.
Mike McDade, a rider who didn't even want to race tonight. He's injured, but he's going to have to, hurt wrist or not.
He doesn't have a choice. I mean, we've seen the way the points are. He has to ride, and he will be racing tonight. So that's good for us as the fans and the viewers.
Again, there are 5 guys going for 4 spots. Let's find out how they do it. The AMA Arenacross format, we start off with heat races, then the head-to-head bracket race. The top 4 from our 2 heat races go at it head-to-head. An LCQ, and whoever qualifies through those make it to the main events. A lot of points up for grabs. That race to the championship is about to kick off next weekend. Let's take a look at last night's race with Kyle Regal battling it out with his teammate.
But Jacob Hayes soon checks out, lets the battles behind him continue, and Zach Ames getting around Kyle Regal the long way around. His teammate would soon follow suit in the same section, getting around Kelly Smith. But later in the race, important, valuable championship points as Colt Nichols goes up the inside of Kelly Smith. This could prove vital later on, but it was all about Jacob Hayes.
Hayes takes the main event win in main event number 2 last night. Looking at the championship points, we have a change at the top of the leaderboard. Tyler Bowers now on top of Zach Ames, Hayes in 3rd. Look at 11th, Kelly Smith on the outside looking in. Let's quickly go down to Christy Lee.
Jared, one of the many riders in the battle for the top 10 positions, a few riders really fighting for those spots. What's going through your mind tonight before racing?
I just want to go out there, do the best I can. I know what I need to do. I just need to go out there and ride like I can and be myself and just beat the guys who are close to me in points and hopefully have a great night and be top 10 in points.
Sounds like a good plan. Best of luck tonight.
Boy, if that's not a fierce look, I don't know what is. Jared Steinke, we'll see him in heat race number 2. Heat race number 1 will kick off when we return. In case you haven't checked out all the cool merchandise online at arenacross.com, you can come out to the event and pick it up in person. A lot of stuff to be had here at Arenacross. There's a new face at AMA Arenacross right there on that tough racing Honda team. We were able to sit down and talk to him a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I actually made the decision to race in Arenacross a month or so before the season started. From the beginning of the season, I told I wasn't lights eligible for Supercross, so I really wanted to try and become lights eligible because I feel like I never gave the lights really a chance. So called Dave a couple weeks before the series, said, hey, what are you doing? Gave me the opportunity with Tough Racing and kind of just all kicked off from there, really. I know Dave from Chad Johnson. He used to train down at my house when he was doing the Arenacross series over and over. I talked to Chad a little bit, kind of got a little background on Dave, and he was like, if you got an opportunity, I'd do it for sure. They got one of the best bikes out there, so it's a lot to learn. It's a lot different than Supercross. In Supercross, once you pass somebody, they kind of just get back in line right with you and then either follow you and keep going, but it seems like every pass you're trying to make, someone's trying to pass you. So you got to do a little bit of defending at the same time, but try and make an aggressive pass at the same time. I'm for sure ready for the chase for the championship. I think I'm 4 out of 5 podiums the last 5 races. Really staying consistent, but come those last 4 or 5 races, you know you got to turn it up a notch. Just really going to try and ride my own race and do my own thing, because at the end of the day, you're out there for yourself, not for anyone else. So I'm going to go out there and do my best and hopefully come away with a championship.
It's good to have Kyle Regal in the series. He's a serious championship threat as well. Before we get to the racing, let's check out our GoPro track preview on board with Colt 45, Colt Nichols, and that GoPro Hero 3 Plus.
Rounding the first right hand off the finish line. Pretty good size rhythm section. We're gonna see some different options. That little hip jump in the corner, kind of unique, just like this big Supercross style triple. right-hand ball turn. Whoops look nice and fresh right now. They'll deteriorate as the night goes on. Going over the finish line jump, and then they jump over another double, which connects the start back to the track. Pretty unique track we have here tonight.
Quite different here at AMA Arenacross this weekend in Reno. There's your starters, 15 riders. They race for 10 laps, but only 7 move on directly to the main event. If you're in the top 4, you move into that head-to-head bracket race. Let's find out who gets the first start tonight. Regal on the inside, 471, but it's Colt 45. That Kawasaki rider, teammate to Bowers and Ames, gets the start. And look at this track. You commented how it reminds you of Supercross, the style of these jumps.
Well, we got like this hip double, and this is straight out of a Supercross textbook, you know, the triple jump into these whoops, but that start, very unique tonight. We see the guys kind of zigzagging through that. They will not use it again on the rest of the track as they cross the finish line.
I see the number 4 sneaking in there in 4th spot just behind Zach Ames. That's Mike McDade. Did not want to race. He has an injured wrist, but the points are so tight as we head to that race of the championship. He has to go out there, and he would love to make it directly into the main from the heat race.
When you're dealing with an injury, the last thing you want to do is have a lot of track time. He's going to try and get through the whoops. See Colt there dropping in. That would jam someone with an injured wrist. So that's something that the number 4 of Mikey McDade is going to have to avoid if he wants to be able to continue at this pace all night long.
It might have jammed Colt Nichols too. He did a helmet and a goggle adjustment, and it looked like too when you hit the whoops that hard as we're on board with Colt. There's that hip jump you talked about. Nice big triple. Look at the crowd here. An awesome crowd in Reno, and they get to see one of the best tracks of the year.
I would agree totally, Robbie. This track is awesome. Kind of looks like a style of track I would love. You see Colt having a little look back. These onboard shots kind of really show you what the riders are going through. But he doesn't want to look around too much because there's a freight train coming with him.
And you're seeing a different, look like a different rhythm for Kyle Regal, the 471, the tough racing Pabst Tylube Honda. Yellow flag being waved, a rider down just in front, went down early, and now you're having to see a rhythm section for the 45 of Nichols.
Colt losing a little bit of time in the whoops there. Once again, having a look back. I think he now knows that that's where these guys are gaining on him. Right behind him, Kyle Regal on that 471 tough Honda. And he's followed by Zach Ames. And if you notice, he does not have the red background this weekend as he has lost the points lead to his teammate Tyler Bowers.
First time in a long time he hasn't had that red background, but they will reset the points after tonight's race, heading into that race of the championship. Ames still putting the pressure on Regal. Regal maybe loses a little ground to the Babbitt's Kawasaki teammate of Ames. But now look at the lap traffic just in front of Nichols, 45 in a
lot of lap traffic. Guys rolling jumps left and right. So where do you go? Center.
What do you do?
Zach Ames now. He's in a good qualifying position. He's got to look at the big picture. Do you go and run it in and Regal and risk the chance of going down? He knows he's in the head-to-head at this point. He knows he's going to have a good gate pick. But at the same time, as a racer, if you know you can get around the guy in front of you without having to force the issue, he's going to do it.
And that's his teammate out in front too. Nichols, one of the best rides all year. And there goes into the inside. We're seeing the different line. Will he have enough to make it? Ames not able to do it. It's just behind him, Mike McDade.
Well, he was able to do it because out of the corner of the screen, Kyle Regal was actually not able to jump the triple. I think Zach Ames took his line away. Smart racing. Take the other guy's line away. Don't allow him to jump the jump. Easy way to seal the deal.
Now you have your teammate in front. Do you run it in as hard? But then again, he gave Regal quite a bit of room. He just shut him down when he had to. He says, I'm giving you an option. Do you possibly wreck, or do you just lose a spot?
Well, that was a smart, clean move up the inside over that hip jump and then able to take the line away. Now we're starting to see this battle brewing for that 3rd position. Mike McDade getting into the picture. He looks a little bit quicker than Regal as well. Maybe Regal just a little flustered after being passed and losing some time. But
that can't be good on the wrist.
Not at all. Colt Nichols, though, he's enjoying a good start and what looks to be a heat race win. We go on board, coming up to some more lap traffic.
About a lap and a half remaining. It's a 10-lap race. What do you do here? I love the GoPro. I mean, I think it's one of the best things that happened to almost any sport that is able to wear them, because you can go back and watch the footage and see what you did right, what you did wrong. This is stuff that when we were kids, there was no opportunity to do that.
No, we just had to hear our dads yelling at us that we did everything wrong.
Colt Nichols with a tremendous start. The spotlight is on him. This final lap of heat race number 1, actually getting on the brake there, trying to time those whoops, and the checker flag comes out, takes the heat race number 1 victory. His teammate Zach Ames on the 3, close behind. Regal, McDade, they move on to the bracket race. Browning, Davenport, and Janolfi move on to the main events. Corey Green, Butters, and Smith have to ride the LCQ. Let's go down to Chrissy Lee with our winner.
Colt, congratulations on that Heat 1 win. You're obviously not feeling too much pressure with the race to the championship still on the line. How are you going to take that confidence into the main tonight?
Yeah, it all started with a great start. My Monster Energy team, Bavis Ansel and Kyle Saki, got off to a great start. And then I see my teammate Zach Ames got behind me, and I just tried to put in a clean, smooth race and ended up coming away with a win. So it's a good way to get the night started.
An excellent way to kick off the night. Let's see what heat race number 2 has to offer when we return to Reno. Welcome back to Reno, Nevada for AMSOIL Arenacross. 1 heat race is in the books. Before we get to heat number 2, let's quickly go down to Christy Lee.
Thanks, Robbie. Well, definitely the reoccurring theme tonight is all about this race to the championship, with many riders still fighting to make that top 10. One of those many riders is, of course, the number 5 of Kelly Smith. When I spoke with him earlier, he said he's feeling a bit of the pressure going into tonight, but he does want to do a nice, clean race, go out there and find some success like he did last night.
Thanks, Chrissy. A lot is on the line. It's nervous time, especially in this heat race. You don't want to have to ride that last chance qualifier. Again, same format as we saw in heat race number 1. 7 moved directly to the main. The riders listed at the top of the screen. But a lot of pressure is on Kelly Smith. He's the one who has to make up ground. Number 5.
He's in the center of our screen. It all starts with a great start.
And he got it.
And that's exactly what he wanted to do. Hold that inside, but he runs a little bit wide and opens the door for Jacob Hayes.
Talk about losing it there. He knew he had to double out, and he does. He makes up a little bit of ground. Hayes followed by Smith. Smith back into second. You're seeing the number 1 of Tyler Bowers, the 3-time defending champion, on the outside.
And a newcomer, his first weekend at AMSOIL Arenacross, the 321 of R.J. Hampshire, one of the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross participants, up in that 4th position.
The kid looked fast last night. He was the number 2 qualifier going into that night program. Had some difficulties when it come time to race. Jacob Hayes, the number 90 out in front, took the overall victory on night number 1 last night with 2-1 main event scores. Doesn't get much better than that, and right now he's picking up right where he left off.
But he may not want to have a look over his shoulder, because there are a few guys coming along with this Kelly Smith, Tyler Bowers, RJ, and back, even beyond that. There is a freight train. One messed up rhythm, one mistake, and Hayes may find himself even out of a qualifying position. But right now, he's keeping his cool. Got for Arenacross, a decent gap. we say 3 bike lengths is good because the guy can't come in and slam you.
It is very tight. You're talking about 25, 26, 27 second lap times for these guys.
Very quick lap times here.
And this is a longer one. This is probably the longest, without question, the longest race of the year as far as lap times. We're almost at the halfway point where you see Jacob Hayes. We saw his teammate Kyle Regal, and a mistake there, but it looks like Bowers got hung up to the outside, and Hampshire takes over, but just for a second, Bowers says, sorry, young gun, not just yet. This is still my time to shine.
It looked to me like Tyler tried a different rhythm, but then when he got pushed to the outside of Kelly Smith, it actually opened the door for RJ Hampshire. Now these guys have a look at each other. Kelly Smith has the inside, controls the line. Tyler does a smart thing, checks up, cuts underneath him. Watch, he did this last lap. He's going to stay lower, but he's got the inside now, and he says, hey, man, don't be looking at me, give me a brake check.
Turnabout's fair play. I think Kelly held him wide the time before. He did the favor that time.
And RJ Hampshire says, let me get on this fun. This looks like a good time. Everyone's doing it.
But don't expect Kelly Smith to give up easily, especially when he has to finish well to get into that race to the championship. Top 4 puts you into that bracket race. It gives you 1 more championship point. He needs to make it to that bracket race first and foremost.
Well, for Kelly Smith, it's the most important out of any guy on the track right now that he gets into that bracket race. So that 1 point is crucial just for getting in. And then remember, if he wins it, it's another bonus point. And he would dearly love to gain those 2 points.
This is a 12-event series. The AMSOIL Arenacross is 12 individual events. Jared Steinke and Kelly Smith are only 8 points coming into this final night before that race to the championship. As you see Hampshire on the inside there. So really this is Kelly Smith's championship. If he is going to win a championship, he has to be in that top 10. And oh, taking a look over, Hayes says there's Bowers, a drag race.
Side by side.
Here's
but Bowers
guys
has
not
the
wanting to back
inside.
down, either one of them.
But Tyler Bowers kind of checks up a little bit there. Maybe didn't have the right angle coming in. He's doing that on off the tabletop, and it's preventing him from going so high like the other guys are doing when they go all the way over. But Jacob Hayes doesn't roll over. This kid's riding with a ton of confidence at the moment.
He
not
loses
phased.
ground right there. You see that?
And he knows it. He looks over and even surrenders his position. But once again, Bowers has the inside. Is he going to make it work this time? Yes, I think he has. He's got control of that inside, and he makes the pass.
Makes a pass, but he also keeps him wide.
But Hayes unable to jump out of that rhythm section. So Tyler Bowers holding on to that lead now securely as we come into the tail end of this heat race. Lap riders looking back, getting out of the way.
Remember, this is the first time we've seen him in quite some time with that red background with that white #1 as the white flag is out. One more lap to go. He's a points leader. He's going to start building momentum. This is his drive towards that championship. It all starts for him probably right now to get that momentum going into those last 4 events.
He's got what I like to call big race temperament. When it comes down to getting it done, this guy knows how to do that. You don't win 3 titles out of luck. But a good way to start the night is by winning your heat race, and Tyler Bowers does just that.
Jacob Hayes, number 90 in second as they follow their way through. Hampshire third, Kelly Smith fourth. So Kelly gets that extra point. Jared Steinke in fifth. He'll make it to the main event along with Sewell and Horban for the second night in a row. Kyle White, Jurovich, and Knops has to ride the LCQ. Let's go down to Christy.
Tyler, congratulations on the Heat 2 win. You put your head down and gave us a great race, the type of racing we've come to expect from you. What's your thoughts going into the main?
Stay up, you know. It's the best I can do out there, so I think we're going to try to get a good start and stay up.
What do you think about this track? It's definitely a lot larger track, definitely more technical.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot with it. It's quite a bit different, but sometimes I think they just kind of, even the last couple of tracks, it's been a little bit too much for the small space we have, and I think the track will be okay for racing. Let's see how it goes tonight.
I think the track looks awesome. If you got the space, why not use it? It's bracket race time. Robbie Floyd, Grant Langston, Christy Lee with you here in Reno, Nevada for AMSOIL Arenacross. Top 4 qualified from their heats. We had 8 riders pairing down to the final 2 head-to-head matchup, Bowers and Hampshire. Young versus not as young. The rookie on the series, number 321, goes up against the 3-time defending champ, Tyler Bowers, for 1 championship point. Let's see how this turns out, because you've seen Hampshire's fast and taking a pretty aggressive line there on the outside.
He took the scenic route there, climbing up the backside of the jump, completely legal, using all the track. But he is hanging on to Bowers right now. This kid is going for it. RJ looking up the inside.
You got to stay low on those jumps. He did.
Oh, and he gets a little huckabuck through the whoops there, which gives Tyler Bowers just a little bit of breathing room he needed. Last lap, white flag. This is it. RJ comes in hard and just
rider down.
Little too much aggression. He kind of tagged that double, which upset the suspension a little bit, causing the tires to lose traction going down. But in this kind of race, you have to go for it, because you go down, there's nothing to lose.
I don't think he lost traction. I think he lost sidewall when he had him turned flat like that.
Yeah,
he ran out of available tire. And Tyler Bowers takes the championship point on that green number 1.
With a little look over at the guy laying down there.
What's up now? What's up now? Tyler Bowers takes the win. The DC Shoes last chance qualifier, 8-lap race. Only the 2 riders up front will qualify for the 2 main events tonight. Monster Energy Supercross has both 250s and 450s. Everybody at AMSOIL Arenacross are on 250 4-stroke machines. Look at the number 19, the yellow Suzuki out of Nowata, Oklahoma, Corey Green. He's on that bubble for that race to the championship. He needs to finish in the top 10. He's got to get in that main event tonight.
Well, before he gets in that top 10, he's got to get into the main event, which means you got to be in the top 2 right here, right now. Nothing better than coming out with the whole shot and getting clear of any potential carnage behind you.
His instructor, the former Supercross champion Robbie Raynard, probably giving him some thoughts as he heads into this last LCQ before that race to the championship. But now he's out in front. I'm sure he's got to be thinking, pull away. Don't worry about what's behind you. Robbie would tell him, look forward, not behind.
Well, I'm pretty sure I know the game plan. Get the whole shot and check out. Stay away from everything that's happening around you.
In second place, Billy Jurovich out of Hollister, California, the 180 in that final qualifying spot. He has to hold on there, but you see the 11. We've seen him many times. Kyle White last year ended last year's series on a bad note, breaking his femur. Really hasn't came back as strong as we saw him last year this year.
Unfortunately, that has seemed to be the case. You know, Kyle White had some great rides last year, you know, knocking the door for some podiums and some great rides. But maybe this is what he needs, you know, to fight to get into the main event. Going into the main event with that flow and that aggression and feeling good about yourself, I think he needs something to get him jump started.
Uh-oh, little bobble right there for the 180. Jurovich has a lot of pressure from Kyle White. The BWR Racing Engines Honda in second, or in third, trying to get into second. Only 2 move on. We thought, you know, Corey Green may check out. That is the case, but look at this race for that final transfer, the last chance to make it into the main events.
Well, Kyle White not looking like he's panicking. We still have over 3 laps to go, which in this LCQ is almost half the race. And he's right there, but he knows his opportunity, it's probably best at the end of the whoops because he's carrying more momentum. But with the laps winding down, you cannot make mistakes like that and hope to make it to the main event, because once again, losing a couple bike lengths, and that's critical at this stage.
You have to make all of those triples. You have to do different lines. You see him right there going a little wider, but yet you're going wider and not doing anything different. That's just a longer distance in track. That's what they tell me, at least.
If you're going to go the long way around, make sure you carry that momentum, otherwise it's going to be slower. Kyle White losing a little momentum through the whoops there. Kind of looks like maybe he's just losing a little bit of that flow. But Billy Jurovich sitting in that second and final transfer position. But the number 19 of Corey Green out front doing exactly what he needs to do to keep his race for the championship alive.
The Farmers Insurance Suzuki showing how to get it done. His fastest 27.7 a 28 even, so he's right around 3/10 variation, so consistent laps for Green as well.
Also, too, when you're out front like this, you're not hammering, but these guys are having to hammer.
White's hammering.
Because he's knowing, hey, man, I'm running out of time. I don't want to be watching another main event.
Robert Knopf's at 772 now, starting to close in. We might have a 3-way battle. Oh, there he goes, bump and run. Now he's on the inside where he's been outside every time, still makes that triple, and Kyle White takes over spot. Now it's time to turn it. It almost looks like a different guy here.
Well, he knows it's time to turn it up, and there's more pressure coming from behind. Should be getting the white flag. He's got to hold on for one more lap if he wants to get into 2 main events tonight.
Kyle White looked like he was trying to lull Billy Jurovich to sleep, and now he's just turned it on. Corey Green is checking out. His white flag is out. Spotlight's on the leader, only about a half a lap remaining. The race is for second place behind him. Green's just making his way through there, and you see the 11 with no problems. Green makes the left-hand turn. He's going to take the 15th qualifying spot into the main and taking that 16th and final spot. Here is Kyle White. Billy Jurovich was out in front for so long in those top 2 positions, but couldn't hold on to it. We'll have a lot more AMA Arenacross from Reno, Nevada when we return. AMA Arenacross featuring Ricky Carmichael's Road to Supercross. It's main event time. 2 main events for 15 laps each. First, I want to mention, Grant, that we're missing Nathan Skaggs here with us tonight. Was injured last night. We hope everything's all right with him and a speedy recovery for the number 8. Here we go, main event number 1. Who's going to get the whole shot? My money's on Jacob Hayes.
And he holds it this time.
Yep, he held it. He didn't take that wide line. Hayes out in front. RJ Hampshire, a great start in second. The 321. It looks like Zach Ames in third.
And you can see they've taken the equipment out there during the break.
Oh,
we got a fresh track and a fresh leader. Or does he? Oh, and RJ Hampshire just comes out looking a little maybe overexcited tonight, but can't fault the kid for the hard charge that he's put on every time he's on the track.
Jacob Hayes on the inside of him. Neither looked like they were going to back down. Let's take a look at this one more time. Hayes on the inside. Oh, but RJ just threw it away on himself.
He's just, looks to me a little too aggressive on the throttle, and you can see what I was getting at. They brought the equipment out and groomed the track, so sometimes it looks perfect, but it's still a little bit loose. You gotta kind of get that feeling of where the traction is, but on lap 1, you're always just pushing the envelope.
Great start by Hayes. You see Ames in second, his teammate on that Babbitt's Monster Energy Amsoil Kawasaki in third. This is the race for the championship, or the race for that points lead. Tyler Bowers took it over here at this stop, and it looks like he's starting to put the pressure, get a little Yahoo going for Ames, and now Bowers to the inside.
But that leaves Ames at the inside, but Bowers able to just clear him and get into that turn clean, get out. So he now takes over that number 2 position. You see the teammates there, different rhythms through there, as one of the riders having to have assistance getting that bike off the track, get out of these guys' ways. And now all of a sudden, Tyler Bowers just goes to the lead. So in a matter of a few seconds, finds himself from third and now in the lead, and immediately pulls away.
Ames picks up also where his teammate left off, and he moves into second. That drops Hayes back to third. What is going on with Hayes? We haven't seen him drop back, maybe a position, but not 2 in 1 lap.
I think he hooked a mental neutral.
A false neutral or an actual mental neutral?
Looked like a mental neutral, but now looks like he's got it back together. Maybe he just was getting a little intimidated with the teammates, the 2 green Kawasaki's that were coming up behind him, because now that they've got around him, looks like he's kind of settling into his rhythm.
Willie Browning, the number 6, just behind as well, that motorsport.com KTM. Tyler Bowers leading this at 6 laps down of this 15-lap race, and he's looking pretty smooth. Now that he's got out in front, he's actually separating himself. He's got to be a half a second quicker.
I'm not sure, but I think out of the corner of the screen, I saw Zach Ames looking down at his bike like maybe there was an issue. I'd like to just keep tabs on that. We'll see what happens right now. Still holding down that second position. Willie Browning, another one of these guys, solidly in the top 10, but as we've seen, one little injury or you miss a night's racing or don't make the main events, and it can really upset the points.
The Spine Chiller KTM number 6 with Kyle Regal on that Tough Racing Honda just behind him. Regal's been racy here as of late. He's teammates with Jacob, who's just about 2 spots up in front, but Willie's trying to hold him off, and now we're seeing some aggression out of Jacob. He takes over second and gets by Ames.
Well, we were just saying it looked maybe like he was flustered or lost his rhythm a little bit, but now all of a sudden makes the pass back on Zach Ames, who passed him earlier. And if you look up ahead, he's not far behind Tyler Bowers.
Actually, that may be Mike McDade, so he might be a little farther than it looks. Bowers about 3 seconds ahead, McDade and one other rider just in front. Look at Browning, man. He's closed in on Ames. Now they're starting to pressure. Maybe there is a mechanical. Maybe there's something going on with Ames.
I swore I saw him looking down like that was a rider who's a little bit panicky, like he knows something's going wrong and he's in conservation mode. So not sure what it could be, but this guy having no issues out front, Tyler Bowers, as you see the number 5, Kelly Smith now, he's sneaking in the picture. He needs to gain valuable points tonight.
But where's Zach Ames? He went down in that left-hand turn. He was in third, but I didn't see him come up that catapult.
Well, I'm wondering if that had anything to do with him looking down earlier. Here we have a look at the replay. Comes in. No, that's completely human error right there. Didn't get that leg up, tucked the front, unable to save it. And that's going to cost him some serious valuable points tonight.
He was in third, dropped back to 9th now. No problems for Tyler Bowers. Jacob Hayes in second. He looks smooth, but man, unfortunate for Zach Ames. He's going to lose championship points, but again, he's just trying to get in that top 10. He's going to finish first or second after tonight as far as the overall is concerned.
Jacob Hayes now got into a nice rhythm. Looked a little uneasy in the beginning, making some mistakes. Looked like he was dropping back. Then he attacked back at Zach Ames, regaining back that second place, and he is in a solid second position. Don't think he has the pace to catch Tyler Bowers. I think that may require a mistake, but look behind. You could throw a blanket over 4, 5, 6, 7 different riders, all in the top 10. And Garrett Steinke, with his really colorful look this evening, having a fantastic ride as well.
He looks like he's representing your home country of South Africa. He looks like the South African national flag going out there, and he's just trying to hold on for as many points as he can. He doesn't want to lose any to Smith. He's in 10th. And it might be 11th if RJ Hampshire gets by, and that's the case. RJ gets by, he loses another point.
Well, not what you want to see if you're Garrett Steinke, because these guys are battling for that final position to get into the championship, and he's losing positions, and he knows that his main rival, Kelly Smith, is up the track a ways ahead of him.
There's Tyler Bowers. He's just thinking about winning this main event. This would be his 11th main event of the season. To let you know how this season compares to last season, as Colt sticks his nose in there, he won 20 main events last year. So a little behind that pace, but still strong nonetheless. Kelly Smith in 4th, and that's 6 spots ahead of Jarrett Steinke, because he's trying to make up as many points as he can with only about a lap and a half to go.
Kelly Smith, really great ride tonight. Really impressed with this guy. He's been around a long time, a veteran at the very least. He knows when it comes down to this time of the season, you've got to step up and bring your best riding out on the track.
There he is, Tyler Bowers, trying to win the main event tonight. He has that red background, means he's the championship points leader, and he takes main event number 11 on the season. That's his 64th in his AMSOIL Arenacross career. Look at this battle. There's that battle for 4th. Kelly Smith, and it looks like Colt on the outside, making the inside, and it's too close to call. Kelly looks over, and it looks like Colt Nichols does take over 4th spot. Kelly Smith drops back to 5th, Steinke in 10th, so he gains 5, but not as many points as he wanted.
Zach Ames finishing in that 9th position, able to rebound and still get some valuable points. Let's throw it down to Christy.
Tyler, great race out there. Congratulations on your main 1 win. Now let's talk about the invert pick. You picked a 16 last night as well. Now that first turn coming off the gate is crucial, so that gate pick can really play a big role in what happens in the race.
Yeah, you know, I picked the 16 last time, and I think I'm pretty sure the only riders picked the 16 invert all year this year, so usually it plays out to my advantage. Last night we had the guys that were supposed to be on the back row with me got lucky. A couple guys didn't show up, so they got front row, and I was on the back row. So tonight, hopefully everybody shows up for the main event, and we all get on the back row and make some progress from there.
Well, those are Tyler's thoughts. We'll see how it all plays out. Main event number 2 when we return to Reno. The riders prepping here in Reno, Nevada for the final main event of the night. First, let's go down to Christy Lee.
3 riders in a pinch to make the cut for the top 10 for the race to the championship. One of those riders is the number 4 of Mike McDade. Started off with a strong season, but suffered that wrist injury just a few weeks ago, which has been giving him trouble, causing him to miss racing last night and last week and hurting him in the points challenge. Also, another rider who's come up in the last few rounds very strong is the number 10 of Jarrett Steinke. And of course, the veteran rider, the number 5 of Kelly Smith, who has struggled all season long trying to make that top 10. This is it, the final race before we determine those final top winners.
That pinch she was referring to is 2 points separating 3 riders. Kelly Smith, 2 behind Steinke and McDade in the final main event before the race to the championship. So much pressure on that number 4, Mike McDade. The number 10 of Jarrett Steinke, and the number 5 on the back row, Kelly Smith. Tyler Bowers wins main event number 1, and he starts on the back row. We're on board with Colt Nichols. You see how he closes down, but it's a great start on the inside.
Hey, he found a small gap and made the most of it. Look at him from the back row, pretty much in a top 5 position, but hits the tough blocks there. Looks like several riders.
Look at McDade. He tripled out in traffic to get himself out in front in second place. He said, I'm not messing around. I want to make a showing into this final main event.
Well, the other, 3 wide.
Again, McDade.
I don't know if I've seen someone stuffing someone while getting stuffed. That was pretty interesting, 3 wide. But getting back to McDade, he has to do well here, because not only is he on the bubble, but just for him personally, he slid down the order as the season's gone on. And now, this is the time where he can make that all go away by a solid main event here.
Is that, no, it's Jarrett Steinke in about 4th or 5th. He's doing what he has to do. Kelly Smith's the rider that is not up front. He's mid-pack or worse. So Steinke, McDade, we see Nichols up there near the front. It's Kelly Smith, the veteran, who's not doing what he has to do to make the race to the championship.
Unfortunately, 3 riders going for only 2 spots. So theoretically, they're battling for that 9th and 10th. None of the 3 want to be in 11th. And it could change anytime during this race. As we said, 2 points separating 3 riders.
Look at the one starting to move his way up. Tyler Bowers at about 5th or 6th. Jacob Hayes looks like he might have moved in to 4th position. Hayes starting to work his way up. He's been fast all weekend.
As we look at the lead there, RJ Hampshire riding very well, starting to stretch this out. Looked a little bit erratic a little bit earlier. Someone with a lot of enthusiasm, but he's got a lot of talent, a lot of speed. I think if this guy can keep it on 2 wheels, he's going to be challenging for a win.
And not keeping it on 2 wheels is Tyler Bowers. He goes inside and looks to Jacob Hayes like, what's up? Am I wrong? Is he not the one that just ran it in on Hayes?
Yeah, that was all Tyler Bowers right there. You know, that looked maybe a little frustration, you know, with some of these guys. I know that there's, you know, no love lost off the track. So I don't
get that though.
Anything.
I don't get how the guy could be on the outside of you and you look at him and go like, what's your problem? You know, you're the one that ran it in there. And Tyler, you said he looks a little frustrated. No frustrations for RJ Hampshire, the kid out of Florida, one of the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross competitors on the AMSOIL Factory Connection, Oakley Honda. This kid looks strong, going for his first main event win of his Arenacross career, albeit short, just this weekend.
And what he's got the luxury of right now is he's got a bit of a gap, and he knows that. You know, these guys can tell. Guys always look out the corner of their eyes to see what's going on around him, and he's looking very comfortable in front. I think what's helping him is he's not got a Tyler Bowers or Zach Ames breathing down his throat, making him think about the wrong things. He can just concentrate on hitting his marks and his lines. As we talk about Zach Ames,
or hitting tough block.
Yeah, Garrett Steinke just clipping that tough block right in front of Zach Ames. You know, one of those things we say about an Arenacross, expect the unexpected.
Corey Green expecting some pressure, the 19 Suzuki out of Oklahoma. Expecting pressure from Jarrett Steinke as well as the 3 of Zach Ames. We're about halfway through this main event number 2. So much is riding for several riders trying to make it in the top 10 in AMSOIL Arenacross points. Those guys move on to the next stop where we rack and we reset the structure for those final 4 events of the season. There's the race for Steinke on the 10. The number 3, they finished 10th and 3rd last year, and that's what the number plates signify.
Zach Ames gaining a little bit of time in the whoops, but seems like as the track's deteriorating, he's starting to lose a little bit of that forward bite somewhere during the rhythm, as Colton Nichols right behind Zach Ames now. So this is becoming a 4-rider battle, maybe even 5 pretty soon. So we could see some jostling going on between these guys.
Corey Green, the quicker right now, the yellow Suzuki tripling into that turn. About 2/3 of this race is complete. Nobody as fast as RJ Hampshire, who's well out in front on the Honda, the rookie rider on that AMSOIL team. And going to the inside, Colt Nichols, that's his teammate on the outside, who's right around that championship points lead. He doesn't want to make contact with him of anybody. He, as well as Tyler Bowers.
Sometimes in these tight, close racing, you just have to do that. I mean, we've seen Ames and Bowers come together several times this year. Rubbing is racing, but when it's your teammate, you don't want to have to move him. Always makes that car ride back to the airport the next morning a little more harder.
You see Jarrett Steinke taking that very drastic inside line. He says, if you're going to pass me, you're going to do it the long way around. Kelly Smith way back in 10th place. He knew going into this he needed to finish either 2 places ahead of Steinke or Medade, and he's not even close right now. Well, I feel bad for the Team Faith rider because I think he believes, and I believe everybody thinks that he should be in that 10, and really it shouldn't be that much of a problem, but it has not been easy for him in 2014.
No, it has not, and this is just an indication. And I'm sure if he doesn't get in, Kelly's going to be upset as we see Zach Ames going around Jarrett Steinke there over the triple jump. Now Colt Nichols thinks he wants to join in on this action, lurking right there behind, looking for a spot to run it in and get around the number 10.
And the guy in front of him isn't his teammate, so he maybe can be a little bit more aggressive, but you see him taking that outside line. That's going to set him up on the outside of Steinke. Seeing him coming out of that turn. Corey Green taking a look back, and it is. Nichols takes over the position on Steinke. Now it's Ames over the 19 of Corey Green in the 19 Suzuki out of Oklahoma, and I think Ames starting to put that pressure on, and Corey's looking backwards as much as he's looking forward.
Oof. Zach Ames coming up a little short in that double into the turn. Guys are trying to not case it, but just tag it to slow it down. You see Zach Ames, the last few laps, not tripling out there, and that's where Colt Nichols is making up all his time. And I think if he was not so nice, I think he would have had the pass done, but there Looks like Ames relinquishes it, but he carries that momentum.
Gave him plenty of room, but Nichols is on the outside, takes the white flag, looks over at his teammate. He's going to try and check out, doesn't want any retribution. But 3:21, R.J. Hampshire out of Hudson, Florida, Amsoil Factory Connection, Oakley, alias Honda. This kid's stoked. He should be. The spotlight's on him. It's his first Amsoil Arenacross. I was told, watch out for RJ. He's going to be one of the top amateurs moving up, and he proves it tonight, taking main event number 2 here in Amsoil Arenacross in Reno, Nevada. McDade holds on for second, Green for third. Look through the pack. Steinke good enough in 6th. Kelly Smith all the way in 10th spot. Tyler Bowers takes the overall, the most unconventional finish. Main event number 1 finishes first. Main event number 2 in 7th. Crazy night for Kyle Regal, 3rd and 8th. Good enough for 3rd overall.
Congratulations on strong racing tonight here in Reno. Obviously, the slate gets wiped clean next week going into Tulsa. What are your thoughts with a start to a new season, basically?
It does me good. I missed the first round due to a couple different things, but yeah, it's going to suit me well. Been, I don't know, on the podium 5 of the last 6 times, so just hopefully stay consistent for these last 4 or 5 races and try and win the championship.
Colt Nichols ties his best overall of the year, 2nd overall with 4 main event scores.
Colt, lots of ups and downs this season. It all goes back to square one next weekend when the race to the championship begins. What do you think about your rookie season with Amsoil Arenacross?
Rookie season with Amsoil Arenacross has been going pretty good so far. Like you said, some serious ups and downs, but you know, I'm starting to get the hang of it and starting to put both main events together and come out here with good overalls. And you know, I'm taking this momentum and pushing it into Tulsa in my hometown race, so I'm really excited for that, and I can't wait to get home and start this race for the championship.
It wasn't easy for Tyler Bowers. He wins the main event number 1, but main event number 2 finishes 7th, but it's good enough for the overall.
Number 1, Tyler Bowers, another strong night of racing. We're going into the race to the championship next week. You've had 11 wins this season. You've been on top all year long. What do you think about that?
I think it's great, but I don't think it matters for the race of the championship. All of our points get reset. I think Ames and I had like 60 to 70 points on 3rd place, and going into next week, and Ames will now be tied with 3rd place, and I'll only be 1 point ahead of both of them. So we're gonna go restart the series, you know. So I guess I can say I won this series, and we're gonna start another Arenacross series next week.
Tyler Bowers optimistic going into Tulsa.
So in baseball terms, the regular season is over with. Here's the point standings. You have to be in that top 10 to make it to the race to the championship, also known as the playoffs. Kelly Smith ends 5 points short of making it to that race. The Amsoil Arenacross playoff bracket has been set, and Tyler Bowers not too happy about it. He only has a 1-point advantage going into the playoffs.
Well, I understand where he's coming from, but he signed up for this. This was going to happen all year long. They now reset the points. Top 10 are set. A lot of guys hitting their stride right at the right time of the season. I'm expecting this race all the way down to the end for this championship to be an exciting one.
And think about it. Anybody in that top 10 has a legitimate shot at an Amsoil Arenacross title. Make sure you follow us online at arenacross.com, on Facebook, on Twitter. For Grant Langston, Christy Lee, I'm Robbie Floyd. We'll see you next time at the BOK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma.